Good afternoon, everybody. It's Monday, 23rd of March. This is my first attempt to communicate with you via video over YouTube. As you can see, perhaps you can, I'm in the office in the parish hall, and huge preparation has gone into the making of this video, including, obviously, hours in makeup. But I was going to give you an office tour, but I don't think I will because there's not an awful lot to see. But I do have a wonderful new picture up on the wall behind me. Can you see that? So that's hopefully the first of several new pictures that will be going up. And of course, I have my coffee machine still here in pride of place. The office, of course, comes actually at just the right time. While many people are having to leave their offices, I'm starting life in my new one with the three girls at home, two studying and one working from home. It's great to be able to come here. Gosh, got to be careful what I say, for a little bit of peace. And great though it is to be spending so much time together, it is also lovely to be able to come to the office and concentrate on things. If you want to meet up, I think there's an opportunity to do that still. I have a couple of comfy chairs in the office, 2 meters apart. I have measured them, and if you feel that you would like to, then please give me a ring. And this is a good place to meet up, seeing we can't meet up in my office in the Imperial anymore. I think if you told me 3 months ago that virtually every church building in the world would be empty of worshipping Christians, then my only conclusion would have been that the Lord would have returned for his people. But obviously he hasn't. And we are still here. And it's important to understand, of course, that we are here for a reason. And I'm kind of reminded what we've been speaking about in Esther over the last few months. The fact that we as Christians are here, God has left us here for such a time as this. And this is clearly quite a time, isn't it? It is a painful time, it's a difficult time, but I am convinced that God has allowed this trial for a purpose. Of course, the early Christians were no strangers to difficult times, no strangers to epidemics or to disease or to suffering. What's interesting, though, is that when you read historical accounts, both Christian accounts and non-Christian accounts, they tell us of how much the church grew in numbers during these times of trial and during these times of difficulty. In fact, the way that the Christians behaved during these trials really got the attention of those people who were looking on. We even read about the Roman emperors who complained to their pagan priests and said, "Why don't you act like these Christians are acting? Just look how much their numbers are growing. Look how much their gatherings are growing, even under such trial." Of course, we know that many Christians during those ancient times made the most extraordinary sacrifices. Their response during those ancient times of trials was to go to the sick and to go to the dying and to care for them. Of course, many of them would succumb to the diseases and would lose their lives in the process, which kind of got me thinking, as we face this modern day trial, what should our response as Christians be? Well, obviously, we need to be responsible. You and I must follow that government advice. We need to make sure that we do distance ourselves responsibly from each other. We're not in the position that Christians were in ancient times and in past times to care for the sick in the same way. And it's important, of course, that we do pray for those that we know who are on the front line caring for the sick at the moment. Of course, we know there are practical ways that we can support each other, and it's really encouraging as I phone, as I go around, to see just how we as a church fellowship are reaching out, not just to each other, but to our neighbours and those around us at this really difficult time, whether it's making some shopping trips for those who are vulnerable, or keeping in contact via social media, or making those regular phone calls. And I would encourage you during the week to, let's say, maybe make 3 phone calls to those in the fellowship who you feel might really be encouraged by a call, or even to those that, of course, you know personally. But I was thinking that perhaps as Christians, one of our greatest responses, which is not going to come easy, but one of our greatest responses as Christians at this time is to resist fear, is to resist the fear that could so easily consume us at this time. Over the past couple of weeks, I've spoken with several people who are very, very fearful at this time. People who are struggling to see a life beyond coronavirus. People who are struggling to see any kind of hope beyond this situation, or in this situation. And I'm convinced more than ever that this trial is going to provide us as Christians, is going to provide us as the family, Exwick Community Church, with many opportunities to live out our faith. And I think one of those opportunities is to show a watching world that perfect love drives out fear, as John tells us in his letter, that perfect love drives out fear, that whatever circumstances we might face, nothing can separate the Christian believer from the love of God, not even death itself. One of the songs that I've been listening to actually today, and will continue to listen to, is the song called "He Will Hold Me Fast," and I'll add a link if I can somehow. How you do that, I don't know, but somehow I'll get a link to you. And it contains an amazing line within the chorus. It's that answer: how are we able to live without fear? I think the answer to that is laying hold of what the chorus tells us in that hymn. For my Saviour loves me so, and he will hold me fast. I just want to, I guess, finish with the poem that my niece sent a few days back. Listen to this. When this is over, may we never again take for granted a handshake with a stranger, full shelves at the store, conversations with a neighbour, a crowded theatre, Friday night out, the taste of communion, a routine checkup, coffee with a friend, the stadium roaring, each deep breath, a boring Tuesday, or life itself. When this ends, may we find that we have become more like the people that we wanted to be, that God called us to be, and may we stay that way, better for each other because of the worst. So, gosh, that's 9 minutes. That's longer than I thought it was going to be. So the Lord bless, and please stay in contact. We'll continue to dish out these videos, whether you like it or not, and you have to put up with my face on the screen. Yeah, God bless.